What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another War Thunder video. If my voice sounds kind of unusual, it's because I just woke up. I'm not sick. No COVID here yet. But this is a time-sensitive video, as Gaijin just released a news update saying that they're going to release a new patch that includes battle rating changes and economy changes, and among those changes are some new repair costs for, among those vehicles, the C2A1 MEXAS Leopard and the the F-11 Tiger, which is the new American jet from the event. And those are the only two vehicles that I wanted to focus on today, because if you go through the whole list, it's hundreds of vehicles that are clearly made from some sort of algorithm. Someone's not going through every single vehicle in the game and deciding to bump things up and down by a few hundred or a few thousand silver lines. This is clearly the work of an algorithm. But the reason the F-11 and the MEXAS should be omitted from the update are because Gaijin is basically using junk data to dictate the increase in repair costs. What do I mean by that? They announced the repair costs less than a day after the general public was given access to the MEXAS and the F-11. It was literally hours, and only a few people, relatively speaking, had access to it when they announced it. So, in all likelihood, they ran their algorithm on Monday, if not earlier, and so all of their data is likely based upon the vehicle's performance by content creators, because prior to Tuesday, which is when the announcement went live, that this battle rating changes and repair cost changes were going to happen, the only people who had access to the MEXAS and the F-11 were content creators. So you're basically basing the repair costs on a handful of people. Now, obviously, there are a lot more content creators than just the handful of really big names that you are all familiar with. There are actually hundreds of content creators in the content creator program, and so realistically, it's a big number of people. But when you compare it to the number of players who are going to have these vehicles, it's just a drop in the bucket. And to make matters worse, the content creators have a significant advantage going for them, and that is because everyone who is in the content creator program received a test drive. These vehicles are completely spaded, and those of you who have gotten high-tier tanks or high-tier aircraft know the difference of a stock vehicle versus a spaded vehicle is noticeable. It is significant. I mean, the C2A1 stock gets a heat FS shell versus the DM33. If I had the opportunity to choose one or the other to start out with, which would I go with? And how would that impact my performance? It would impact my vehicle's performance noticeably. That's going to dramatically affect my statistics in this vehicle. If I had to spade this thing from completely stock, it would take me quite a while. I would not have nearly as many kills as I would if I were to go into a match with this configuration, the laser rangefinder, the DM33, and so on and so forth. Of course, the night vision thermals, and same thing with the F-11. Completely spaded, AIM 9D sidewinders. Which would you rather have? A completely stock F-11, no sidewinders, no upgraded engine, etc., etc. Yeah. And so the content creators' statistics are essentially inflated. They're making these vehicles look better than they are, not because they're better players necessarily, but because they're starting out with completely spaded vehicles. And so Gaijin is basically using junk data to increase their repair costs unnecessarily. So all I'm suggesting to Gaijin is to pull the F-11 Tiger and the MEXAS Leopard from the update. Hold off and wait a while. Give the general public time to get their hands on these vehicles and see how the data shakes out after a couple weeks. Just a couple of weeks. I guarantee you that if you compare the data, you know, the win rates, the kills per death, kills per battle, etc., that you have for the content creators, I guarantee you it's going to look very different in 2 weeks, because people are going to go through their stock grinds, and people of all kinds of skill levels are going to have it, much more so than if you were just going against the content creators, or with the content creators. One of the other things that they had with the F-11 is that no one knew how to fight this plane in those first few days when the content creators had it. And I watched Cop Shredder just absolutely shred people because people just did not know how to fly against it. They didn't know how to fight it. Give it time, Gaijin. Give it time to shake things out. These are both very, very good vehicles, but you're multiplying the repair cost by like 2.5 for each of these vehicles, and it's a bit much considering that you're basing your stats basically on content creator program people only. I think it's a mistake to bump these vehicles up in their repair costs so much so soon. I think you need to wait a little while and see how things shake out after a few weeks. Anyway, that's going to do it for me today, guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me for a few minutes. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button. If you disliked the video, hit that thumbs down button twice. And of course, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Take care, guys.